Today I'm going to show you an opening that e4 players absolutely hate. It's going to be also helpful to really find moves easily. We're going to look at the analysis, and then we're going to also look at some of my live thinking process, because this was played on stream. I'm going to edit it together so you can see my thinking a little bit. And now let's get right into it. Okay, so here we are. My name is Exelsio, by the way, and I'm 2000 rapid at the time of this game, 1964. Now, let's look. My opponent goes for e4 here, and here is where the fun begins. We're going to go with the Caro-Kann, my friends, which is going to be with c6, d4, d5. Okay, this is basically the opening position of any Caro-Kann game. Basically, black's idea is to control the center with these two pawns, and white's idea is to either take or push or play knight here. My opponent goes with push, which is the main, which is the advanced line, and I go for this nice little line here with c5. Now my opponent has two options, guys. He can either take, or he can play c3, and c3 is it's the little bit the calmer option. The best move objectively is to take here, and my opponent does not do that. He instead goes for c3, which allows us to get a very, very nice game, guys. Now we have some very good center control here, and next up what we're going to do is we're going to add our knight in here, and my opponent goes for his knight onto c3. Now this is still the opening. You don't necessarily need to know theory, but for this opening, of course, you do need to know the theory. This is going to be a video about the Caro-Kann and how this line especially can play out. We played this game with about 97% accuracy, so we did a pretty good job, I must say. And now here, the most accurate is taking and then putting your bishop out. Because if we take, and he takes with the knight, we win a pawn, so he's kind of forced to take here. And we don't give him a chance to still take this pawn. So we take, and he takes, and now we go out with our bishop. This is very, very simple stuff so far. And my opponent develops his own bishop, very good, breaking the pin. And here the best move is again e6. Now opponent castles, very, very principled move. And if you look at the eval bar, we're already equal. On move 8 here, we've already equalized. And now I like this line, okay? The computer wants you to play queen here. I don't really like it because I usually have plans of attacking with these two pawns in the future. And I would like to get my knight here because this knight is this pawn is weak, right? This is a backwards pawn, which is undefended, right? I mean, undefended by another pawn. So it's an isolated backwards pawn, which is kind of nice. Of course, it is blocked by our own pawn, but still, we do have great attacking chances, so I want to get my knight here. My opponent plays the move a3, and I'm not quite sure why he played a3. Maybe he wants to stop my knight from ever coming in here. I'm not quite sure. And I just continue with my plan as before. Once again, the opponent, the engine wants me to play b6. I don't want to play b6 though. Queen b6. And I develop my bishop. Why do I develop my bishop? Well, very easy, guys. I mean, there's only one square we can go to. We don't have a choice, and we want to get castled. And all of our other pieces have already moved, all of our minor pieces. So that is the natural next step. And my opponent develops his knight, which is an okay move, not the best, but it is reasonable. Engine would like it to go here instead, because that's a little bit... I guess there is more options in the future, maybe hopping in here. You can also do it this way. This you don't really need to know. And now I put my rook onto c8, because rooks belong on open files. I could have castled first. I don't think it makes a big difference. And my opponent now plays this h4 move. Sorry, h3 move. Now, of course, I don't have a choice. I have to take this knight. but this is okay. We don't mind trading this bishop for this knight. Usually we don't want to do that, but in this case, if you notice, the majority of our pawns are on light squares, and a bishop, my guys, is not so powerful when the pawns are on the same color. Can you see how this bishop has like more squares available than the light square bishop, because my light square bishop is being blocked by my own pawns? And also something very, very crucial, which especially applies in the Caro-Kann, is this knight defends this pawn. This will become very important later in the game. And once we remove this knight, there is only going to be 2 defenders left, and we have 2 attackers. Notice. Now, we do take, because it's literally the only option other than getting forked, because of course, for those of you who don't see this, if we go here, that's of course just a fork. Now, we do avoid that, luckily. And now I go for this bishop here move. I really could have castled here as well. I guess I was just really greedy on trying to get my pawn. I really wanted this pawn, and I want to cash in by maybe removing another piece. If he doesn't take now, let's say he plays like some nonsense. I mean, it's not nonsense, but let's say he plays this. Of course, there is going to be problems because we have tactics. So he takes. He could have also added a defender, and now I take back. My plan is working very, very well. Everything I'm doing is in hopes of eventually gaining this pawn. And now my opponent defends the pawn once, and I play this move here. Why do I play this move? Well, I'm simply threatening to win the bishop. My opponent responds with an unfortunate blunder, because this allows me to finally win this pawn. How do I win the pawn? Very simple. We take. If he takes with the pawn, he has the double pawns, which is not very, very good. And if he takes with the queen, I win this pawn. So this is kind of a no-brainer for me, at least. The engine thinks it would be more precise to play queen here, because then we can also pick up this pawn. But for me, I like to play simple chess, and to be honest, this move never even occurred to me during the game. I was playing quite quickly here. If you notice, you should not be doing this, guys. We are currently on move 16, and I have 9 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock, which is not ideal, because if you remember, we're playing a rapid game with 10 minutes, no increments, and we've already played almost half the game here. So yeah, don't be like me. Maybe if you take more time to think, you would probably find this move I just took. And then I cashed in my free pawn, which is nice. So in this position, once again, another pawn would have been available. But if we do take here, it might lead to some problems later down the road, as I think we could be in some trouble here. And yeah, this would just be very equal. And then he would get this check, and I would have to block with my rook, and I would lose this pawn, which would lead to equality. Of course, I saw all of this. I'm joking. I did not see all of this, but in general, it is more simple to just go back, defend. I'm very, very comfortable with this position right now that I have, because I do get the pass pawn, and I'm very, very simple when it comes to the Caro-Kann, which is why it's an opening I really like. Usually winning a pawn is almost enough, because you get a lot of play here on this open file. And this pawn, only black can have a passed pawn here. White can't have a passed pawn in this specific structure. And so I retreat my knight. And now my opponent plays a great move, which is f4, stopping me from immediately winning this pawn, also gaining a tempo on my queen. And I just retreat to a very, very safe square, which is e6, e7. Now, we could have played a little bit more active by playing queen to h4. But I decided I would just like to finally get castled and have my queen in a safe space. I already know I am up a pawn, and we do have a passed pawn. So now my opponent goes for b4, and I go to play. We still haven't castled. Wow, this is not a great game when it comes to principles, guys. But okay, I go a5 because I don't want my knight to be displaced for now. So yeah, this is like, what was I gonna say? So yeah, now next up, my guys, is gonna be, finally, we're gonna castle, and castling is the best move because we don't want to be in the middle of the board forever. Okay, you need to castle. Right now, we had a lot of reasons not to castle because we were chasing a pawn, and we were successfully also winning the pawn, and the king was relatively safe here for now. And my opponent goes and plays the move f5, which is a mistake because I guess maybe he was hoping I would take, and he gets to play knight here. I'm not quite sure what his hope was. But I decided to go with the best move, putting pressure on the knight, on this pawn, and also on this pawn in the future. My opponent plays now this move here, which is f6. After f6, I get to take another pawn. My opponent is pretty much lost. He has to move the queen, and I pick up another pawn. Now I'm up 3 pawns. And from here on out, it's pretty much a very easy game because, well, you know, his knight is not exactly placed well. This queen is the only thing protecting the knight right now. We have 3 pawns advantage. 2 of those are just passed pawns. My knight is kind of central. My rook is on the open file. My queen is helping my rook to also control this open file because you can't play this because, you know, we just win a piece. So yeah, it's going very, very good. And my opponent attacks my knight. And I decide to, you know, continue playing active chess. What you want to do, guys, is when you're winning, you want to play active. This was the most active move I could think of. Planning on doubling up my rooks. My knight is never under attack. It's protected by the queen. And my opponent moves the king, which is the best move, helping the protection of this knight. And now I double up, which was my plan this entire time. And my opponent decides to sacrifice his rook. And here is where he really lost it. We're going to go, of course, take the rook because a rook is a rook. And he was hoping for some counterplay. Now I was thinking of this move immediately, but we would be hanging checkmate. So we can't really do that. Instead, we play the move f6. Don't tell Ben Feingold I did that. He'll be very, very mad. But in this case, of course, it is the best move. Simply, you know, his sacrifice now becomes kind of useless because his queen is just aiming at a flipping wall. That is like a super wall here. And his knight is pinned. This is coming, and it's not good. It's not very good. He unpins his own knight. And now I get the move rook c3. And I'm simply going to be eventually winning a piece. Well, at least that's what I thought. Instead, I was going to win the queen. So I took the queen for a rook. And my opponent played this very fascinating move here, which is knight takes f6 check. But I think he failed to see that rooks do move backwards. So I, of course, took his rook, his knight, and on the very, very next move of the game, did hang checkmate and 2. And here he decided to abandon the game after a long, long time. I think he made me wait about 5 minutes. And now this game is completely over because obviously, you know, I mean, that's it. Nothing you can do. Now, that's it for the analysis portion. And Now let's see some of the thoughts I had, and then I'm going to come in with the closing statements. Some of the thoughts I had during the game, and I'm going to come in with a closing statement. One last rapid game. Bro said, I am better than you online fighter arena. Okay, bro. Good for you. Anyways, let's continue. And we get to play a Karo from the Khan, my friends. And we need to remember, this is a rated game. The actual rating is on the line. Shark, thank you so much for the follow. Let's go here. It is much appreciated. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's develop our bishop. That's a rook. Guys, the famous bishop. Now, let's take, because we don't have another choice, to be fair. If we don't take, we just lose a piece. Do we want to lose a piece? Not really. Let's go here. Let's go here. Take here with check. Go here. Go here, and we should be doing quite well. To play with me, as I said, you only have to do send me an invite. I don't know if I already said this, I forgot. Now, what is he doing? Is this a problem? Go here, go back. Should be fine. Let's take. Unless I miscalculated. If I miscalculated, then it will not be fine. Let's go back here. Guys, we're doing decently well. I mean, okay. Oh, no. We can always just move the knight. In case we have to, we just move the knight, guys. Aren't we just winning? Aren't we just winning? Let's go here. This is a threat. This is a huge threat, actually. He just sacrifices. But why? That would of course be mate. We cannot hang mate. Let's go here. Aren't I winning? I think I'm winning. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm winning. It's not a live stream. Okay, bro. It's not a live stream, guys. Guys, I have news. I was not answering your comments the entire time. Okay, bro. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. What was that? What the hell was this? Oh my god. Thank you so much for the golden gameplay, my friend. Much appreciated. 2 of them. Thank you so much for the golden gamepad, man. Appreciate it. I'm Swiss. I will play you. I'm also 90. There we go. He's resigned. He's abandoned the game, guys. He has abandoned the game. Okay, guys. Now that you've seen everything, I hope that was a nice introduction to the Caro-Kann. This specifically was the Botvinnik Skulls. Remember, guys, if you're looking for a coach and you're under the rating of 1500, rapid, feel free to click the first link in the description to sign up for a free evaluation where I will see if coaching is right for you and if I'm the right coach. If that would not be the case, or if you're over the level of 1500, I would happily recommend you to my good friend who's a FIDE master. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Excelsior out.